Hello, everybody. I'm Gerald Varela with Miami's Community News, and here I'm joined by two lovely ladies who can introduce themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Diana Gonzales. I'm the chair of the sales committee for Ceramic League of Miami. Thanks for having us, Gerald.
Hello, I'm Nan Ernst, and I'm a vice president of the Ceramic League of Miami.
Cool. So today is kind of like a big day, the first time that you guys are here this year.
That's right.
Very exciting. You visited us, I think, 4 or 3 times last year.
Yeah.
And every show was incredibly insightful. The shows that I host, I'm sure you could see the
ones that you
shock
well
on my face of learning about.
and Danny as well.
Yes, Danny as well. She did fill in for a few shows.
Yeah.
So today we're here to talk about what the Ceramic League is up to in 2025. So I'll hand it off to you, Diana, to
Great. Well,
enlighten us.
we've created a new calendar for the events that are coming up. We've had a couple of great workshops. We've had workshops doing sculpture with one of our teachers by the name of Pucci. We've had a bird whistle workshop with Polo, who's our Peruvian artist from, and he teaches classes. He teaches regular classes and he teaches workshops, and he's just a fine artist, and we're so happy to have him there.
And we have pictures of that stuff, too.
We do have pictures, yes.
Yeah.
We brought pictures of everything, so they might be scattered. We also are having an upcoming workshop with Richard Notkin, who is a well-known ceramic artist here in the United States and abroad. That will be happening February 8th and 9th. We're about to finish our first session of classes, so you know, our sessions start about every 8 weeks, and they're 6 weeks long. So we have a lot going on, and this year we're also bringing different members of our board to meet the community and for the community to meet them. So that's why Nan is here with us today to talk about her involvement at the league. And you know, I'll start making my pottery over here.
Which we have a camera dedicated to that.
That's
so we'll
right.
Be able
I
to
have
see
my
that as
my action cam, which I'm
Yes.
very excited about.
Action.
So, you know, it's a real pleasure to have Nan with us today.
Yes.
So,
Well, it's very nice to be here. I just wanted to say that for any of your listeners who are not familiar with the Ceramic League, it is a wonderful, really incredible, and very valuable, I think, community resource. It's a community ceramic studio that is operated by the members, and it's open to the public for classes, workshops, as Diana has mentioned, and a place for learning and experimenting with clay. And it's just a wonderful thing for the community, and it's been going for 75 years. This is our 75th anniversary.
Yeah, that's something that's a fact I always forget about. Is how long you guys have been around,
75 years.
and I think that's to be
75 years.
congratulated. And I think it shows the importance of making, you know, of crafting.
Absolutely, and the other thing about it is, it's my understanding that it was founded 75 years ago, basically by a group of women who wanted a place to develop as ceramic artists, and it's filled that need. For these 75 years. Thousands of people in South Florida and Miami in particular have.
Yeah, and obviously now
Right.
you guys are not open only to women. You have men, and what have you. But I think that's also shows the dedication that women bring to the art making world as well.
They were very dedicated.
Yes.
And they operated in a world so different from how we operate today. The demographics of the organization were very different. The concept of how you put a group together was very different today. Obviously, everything's computerized. Back then, they depended on the telephone tree and word of mouth, but yet they not only survived, but they thrived for 75 years, and here we are with the ability. Because of the foundation they laid, we have the ability to take it forward, to take it into the new world, if you will, of how organizations like ours can continue to grow and build on their success.
Yeah. literally the mothers of the league.
They
huh?
are. I mean, it was never reserved for women. It was just that there was this group of women
Yeah.
who had the inspiration and the dedication to get the organization going, and then eventually to purchase a warehouse for the studio, which is in the Falls District. So we have this facility that's really quite incredible. It's about 5,000 square feet, and we have all the equipment that you need for ceramic making. You can make ceramics in many different ways, as Diana's demonstrating over here. You can just roll out a slab of clay and go from there. Most people, when they think of ceramics, think of the potter's wheel because there's something sort of romantic
it's
about
like
it.
there's an image.
There's an image. So we have many of those too, and you can learn how to throw ceramics to make pottery on the potter's wheel. We have kilns. We have the clay and all the
chemicals
and everything you need for glaze making. So we have a full functioning studio that supports the making of ceramics.
Yeah. So you guys came prepared with a calendar. I think we flashed it earlier on the show. And so next week we have Richard Notkins coming. Is there anything about his work that you guys saw as valuable for the Ceramic League students that you felt, he needs to be the one that kind of instructs this week?
Well, I think we actually have a committee that focuses on who to look for upcoming workshops, and like some of the questions that you're asking, what works well with our membership, what are our members interested in. Richard does a lot of decorative work on his, and it's hand-built work, but he does a lot of decorative work on it. So there's a lot of attention to detail.
Yeah, can we zoom in on that?
That he puts in. There's a great deal of attention to detail, and when you see artists working in that manner, there's so much to learn, and there's so much that you can glean just from watching them work. There will be some limited opportunities for people to participate in he will describe different ways of doing the decorative work that he's doing at the time, and people will be able to have limited opportunities for participating in the workshop.
It is hands-on, so
yeah,
the participants will be making a project,
and
along with them,
and he reviews their work as well.
And he, of course, he walks around, and I mean, normally the teacher, the visiting artist will walk around and talk to everybody, tell them how to make it better, how to do something a little different. So when you have a participatory workshop, you're working with that artist,
and it's an incredible experience.
It has to be.
It really is, because you're getting this. I'm not very familiar with Richard Notkins' work, but my understanding is that he has, been practicing artist for 50 years or more.
Yeah, and you can see right there. That's just
he's not a potter. He's not making functional wares.
Yeah, he's making art pieces,
more
sculptures and art pieces. My understanding is that he often has a very political content to his work, but his process is what he's going to be talking about. And to see a practicing artist at the top of their game doing their work is just an incredibly valuable experience. And so this is one of the most important things that the Ceramic League does for the community, because the community is invited to. They can sign up for the workshop. He's also giving a lecture and a slideshow.
Oh, wow.
And the public's invited to come to that too.
So it's such a rounded experience.
It's a very rounded experience, and it's open to the public, anyone who's interested in ceramic arts and wants to learn a little more and get an inside view.
Yeah.
So
there's no gatekeeping.
No gatekeeping.
And you guys are welcoming.
We
That's
are.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
You might get a little clay on you when you're in there, because it's not exactly a clean place, but it's the Ceramic League, I think, fills a unique spot for ceramics education in the greater Miami area for people who, like myself, I consider myself a serious hobbyist. I'm not making a living at producing ceramic works, but I put a lot of time and effort into what I do. I do sell things, but I have a chance to grow and learn because someone like this visiting artist is coming to Miami.
Yeah. That's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys recently just had 2 workshops, if I'm correct. Could we see some of those pictures? So the photo that was just shown is just a flyer for what's coming.
Right.
But we have photos of previous workshops.
Of Pucci and Polo. This is the Pucci workshop where they were. Pucci is a sculptor. She has been working in clay since she was 14 years old.
She's amazing.
Is that Pucci on the right, the bottom right?
I don't see Pucci
Oh,
in there.
okay.
No, she might. No, she's up actually in the left. But we have another photograph that has her in it. And these are some of the pieces that came from the workshop. She is just an amazing person.
She's so amazing
to watch work.
I bet when you guys see stuff like this, you're just so happy.
That's that's what the participants are doing. That's not even Pucci's work, but somehow in 4 hours you come out of the workshop with this. It's
phenomenal.
She's
phenomenal.
such a good teacher.
Phenomenal, truly
she
phenomenal.
really has a way of getting the skill across.
Well, that just pulled an emotion out of me. You know?
There's Pucci.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I knew we had a photo of her. And she teaches at the league, and she also has her own studio, and she does workshops
Here in Miami.
Oh,
Yeah.
all here
Yes.
in Miami.
So she's based in Miami.
Yeah,
she's based
she's
in
Miami based.
She travels to Peru from time to time in South America to do workshops there. So she ends up being a visiting artist back in South America. But she really is terrific. We also have our other Peruvian potter is Polo Ramirez, and he works in a very ancient
Oh wow.
type
He's
of
sitting
work.
on the floor and everything.
He sits on the floor. Everything is pinched and hand built.
That's
You have a stone on the inside and you tap on the outside. The colors that he uses are natural oxides. He creates what's called an engobe, which is a mixture of clay and oxides for color. Everything is burnished, which means that you polish the surface, and then everything is pit fired.
Wow.
Not raku fired, but it's a pit firing, and he just has incredible work. He creates little bird whistles, like they're little sculptures of birds, and
That's crazy.
now here's the tough part: making the sculpture is a challenge enough. Making it whistle, that's the tough part, because there really is a science. You need to make sure that the holes are lining up and that
Every time you guys come, and I'm sure we could go back and look at the footage. I always say alchemy.
Yeah.
Always.
Well,
this is physical alchemy.
It
You
is
know,
because you're taking earth and transforming it into something solid and permanent.
and especially with his technique, you can just imagine ancestors
Yes.
in a hut.
Yes, he's
right?
using traditional techniques that go back thousands of years.
Yeah.
And you can see, the students are enthralled.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
completely.
yeah.
It's completely enthralling.
Wow.
So,
Just
And-
like we're enthralled with Diana's work over here.
And Nan sort of touched on it. For me, the beauty of clay. I mean, and I love. I'm a little schizophrenic, so I like the hand building. I love the wheel. We've brought the wheel a few times.
We love the wheel here.
Yeah, it's so much fun. But the beauty of clay is that you can use really almost anything that you have. I mean, you need clay, but once you have the clay, you can use almost anything to
the
add
possibilities
design.
are endless.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, this is a back massager.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Looks good.
which when I saw the pattern,
You had to.
who thought of my back. I thought, what a great design for
Wow.
the clay.
That's phenomenal.
This is a ink.
A batik.
A
It's a
batik
batik,
stamp, an ink
stamp.
stamp in
Mhm.
there. These came from India. This was actually made. This was made here, but it's another type of
Stamp.
stamp
Mhm.
that we use all the time. These are forms, and it makes it very easy to create the heart. They come in different sizes.
I was under the impression those were finished pieces, but no,
No.
it's just an instrument.
It's
It's
a form.
wood, and you make the slab and you drape it over. But you know, I mean, after that, it's whatever you want to do to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so it just helps you with the form. And since I said earlier, Valentine's Day is around the corner.
Yeah, perfect.
Now's the time to make hearts. You know,
Mhm.
so I thought it'd be fun to do that. To do that today. But there's these are textured rollers that are especially for clay. So but the sky's the limit. You can use anything you want. You could go outside and just pick up a piece of bark from the tree and use it,
Oh, that's a good idea.
in a repeat pattern. Or you could pick up a feather, that you found on the street.
I
or-
have to admit that I, for some reason, have become very fascinated with the long pods that
Mhm.
fall off of the Royal Poinciana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm new to Miami. My husband and I moved in 2019,
From where?
the DC area.
Oh, wow.
So, in my walk around my new neighborhood, I'd see these pods on the ground, and they would pop open, and the
Yeah, that's
inside have
nice.
it's like little ladders.
Yeah.
They're so incredibly beautiful to me for
Mhm.
some reason, and I use those for texturing.
Alchemy.
Hmm
That's alchemy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Wait. One time I was in New York one time for a workshop, and I was walking down the street, and I found a little chain, like the type that you put keys on,
Mhm.
a little ball chain.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, and I used it in every piece of pottery that I made at the workshop, because you can do anything
Yeah.
you want. You could use a fork, you could use anything that you have.
Forks are actually very helpful
I
Yeah.
bet.
for
Well,
many things.
for many things, for putting things together as well as decorating
Yeah.
the outside. But the point is, it's a craft that even if you're of limited means, there is a way to make it work for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain basics that you need. You do need the clay. Once you have the clay, and if you have access to a place like the Ceramic League, where you have access
To like
To the-
everything, right?
to everything else that you need, it makes it very, very accessible,
Yeah.
regardless of your ability to pay and spend a lot of money. With the workshop that's coming up, with the Richard Notkin workshop, the workshop has a price. It's $280 for the 2 days, but the lecture Saturday night at the Ceramic League is free of charge
Mm-hmm.
and is open to the public.
And that $280, that's just for materials. That would cost what, double if you were to buy it on your own?
His time, materials,
Yeah.
bringing
Mhm.
him here,
Mhm.
dedicating the space, because when we have these workshops, we give up the space for 2 days.
Yeah.
So whatever classes would have been held or not held, and there's a cost to the organization, but it's well worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To bring this to the public here in Miami is more than worth it.
And
But,
the value to our members, in addition to participating in the workshop, which is the greatest value, the works that are made during the workshop by the visiting artist are bisque fired, which means that they go from this raw clay state to the first firing where it's vitrified and it's hard like a rock, so it'll keep the shape that it's been given by the artist. And then those pieces, they're unglazed, but they're still, they're pieces, ceramic art made by this visiting artist, are included in our archive and are available to study. So for
Whoa.
me as a member, I can pick that piece up and I
Wow.
can turn it over and I can see how it was finished on the bottom. I can see how it feels in the hand. I can see how it was assembled, even though I didn't participate in the workshop.
And so wow, that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
So you guys are archiving these pieces
Oh yeah.
and allowing.
So we have an incredible archive, as a matter of fact, because this goes back 75 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
So this started with the founding mothers of
Yeah, I don't know
ceramic.
exactly when they started, but I know that we have, from the best known ceramic artists practicing in the United States, we have
their pieces.
works of
Whoa.
theirs going back at least 50 years.
That's phenomenal.
Mhm.
Wow, that blew my mind. So I kind of want to go back to the calendar
Mm-hmm.
because it's chock full, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, you got a lot of stuff going on.
there's
this
always
year.
a lot going on.
And I'm sure this isn't just this year. You know, I'm sure it's every year. So I'm going to ask you guys
Mm-hmm.
to pick favorites. Okay, so you can beat me up after the show. But on the calendar, who are you the most excited for out of all these events?
I'm not excited for any particular person. I get excited over our makers markets. You've heard me talk about
Yes.
them a lot.
Yes, I have.
This year we're having 4. The first one is going to be in March. Then we'll have one in June, and then in the fall and in December. We're spacing them out a little bit more to make them more manageable to pull together. The reason I really like those is because it brings together more than just potters. I mean, you know, we could talk about pottery forever, but when we do the makers markets, we have jewelers, fabric artists, the You Make program from the library. We have wood turners. We've had soap and candle makers. So it just broadens
Yeah.
the experience of what you can make, and or what you can combine with clay,
Mhm.
because you can make a clay vessel and then put a candle in it, or make a clay plate and go buy a candle and put it on. I mean, there's so many combinations. Of
And I bet
things
you
that
get a
can be
lot
done.
of local makers and artists who come out to these events that you never would have normally seen. or-
Exactly. The last one we had was in December, and we had 18 vendors. And we were so happy to have them because it really created a festive atmosphere. Nan was there with her booth.
It's really also nice for the community because it's handmade objects available and accessible to the community because, as I say, I've been doing ceramics for over 20 years, but I'm not charging what Richard Notkin is charging. So it's affordable
Yeah.
and still well made and beautiful
Yeah. Well, I don't want to brag.
pieces of pottery.
Yeah, I don't want to brag or make anyone feel bad, but Diana did. I believe you made the pieces that were gifted
Yes.
on Christmas.
And
I just want to say
I forgot which one I gave you.
it was. It looked like, I'm a nerd, so I'm gonna get nerdy. It looked like an artifact from Lord of the Rings or something. You know, it's like gorgeous. I mean,
Too kind. You're too kind.
phenomenal stuff. Just the feel and the weight, and thank you.
good.
The
No, I was
texture.
happy to do
There really is a special feel to something that's handmade.
It's different.
So it's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, why spend your your
Yeah.
$20 at whatever store, Marshalls or whatever,
Right.
home goods store. So what about you? What's your favorite, or you can
Well,
give us a
I have to say what I'm really looking forward to is our 75th anniversary exhibition. Is
I
that on?
see it.
It is on here. Yes.
Late April or early May. So you guys are still figuring out the days.
Right,
Okay.
right. That date will be pinned down pretty soon.
And do we know where this is happening?
We do, but I don't.
Okay. I like that.
It's actually going to be at a gallery in Little Haiti.
Oh,
as I
wow.
understand it.
Yes.
Wow.
And the beauty of it is Richard Notkin is going to curate the exhibition.
Spoiler
so
alert,
he
I mean-
will be the selector of what pieces go into the show.
So you can have a real artist.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
So members who want to participate will have to go through an application process,
Ooh.
and it's a little daunting.
Yeah.
But
sounds
you
scary.
have to send photographs of your work, and then he'll pick what will be in the show from current members currently making ceramics at the Ceramic League. But for the 75th anniversary, we're going to get some stuff out of our archive as well.
Right.
Oh, so you're going to get some older pieces.
Well, the pieces made by visiting artists over the 75 years of our
That's
history.
Awesome. Wow, guys.
So it's going to be really special.
Yeah.
And I hope the public comes out.
So if I was interested, if I saw this today, and then I look up the website and I see all the things happening this year, which one would you recommend for a new maker? Somebody who has never touched clay in their life, who's going to start
we get a lot of those every session. So they're really excited.
Every session is available for that.
I'd recommend a class.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
A class is Nan's right. It's the way to go because you get to see every step of the process. You get hands-on instruction. You get your clay. Only thing you need to bring are tools, which are readily accessible
for sale there, or you can get them on your own.
Right. So we've made it so easy for you to come in and spend 6 weeks totally immersed in making. The classes are 2.5 hours, so you get a lot of time.
They're in the day, the evening, weekends.
So this is super accessible.
Super accessible.
Super accessible. And extremely reasonable.
Yeah.
It's like I said, 6 sessions, 2 to 2.5 hours each, $250.
Wow.
I mean, that's,
that's
some
nothing.
classes are more expensive depending on the type of firing that's done. We've mentioned before that we have a soda kiln, which is a special type of firing. That is a more expensive kiln to fire. So that one's more expensive when you take that class.
Naturally.
But I mean, in terms of availability, accessibility, being able to work one-on-one with a teacher, you could tell the teacher, I've tried it once before, but I really want to get better at making a plate.
Yes.
The teacher will work with you.
I've never touched clay in my life, but it looks cool and I want to give it a try. And so you'll get a 25-pound bag of clay and instruction, and you'll come out of there with some ceramic pieces.
So for somebody, because I do want us to talk to specific people out there, and maybe one of them is sitting at this table, but somebody who is not good with their hands in terms of crafting, what would you say to get them into that door to do their first session with you guys?
I'd say don't be afraid.
I would too, because there's so many approaches you can take. I'll just be honest and say, it's my personal opinion that throwing on the potter's wheel is difficult.
Yeah.
That really takes a lot of practice and dedication. But maybe you're into it, and maybe it's something that clicks with you, and you get it relatively quickly. But if you don't want to invest that sort of time and effort, then there's the hand building with slabs. It's
like making cookies.
It's just to do something simple is very easy. It's very easy. And very satisfying. So even some of there are beginners in the sculpture class. There's someone who teaches mosaics. I mean, the ceramic arts, as I say, there's no end to what can be done. And so there's many ways to go. If you just want to get your hands dirty, that's the other thing, is you have to not mind being dirty, because you're going to be in the mud.
Wow. So would you say that the limit to ceramics is your own creativity?
Yeah.
It's all in your head. Whatever, I mean, if you can think it, I think I'm stealing something from a movie. If you can think it, you can do it. I mean, truly, if you can think of a form, if you could think of a design, there's nothing stopping you. But,
and it's so much
trying
fun.
to do it.
The only worry is it can take over your life. So
and your house.
It can grab you to such a degree that you're like obsessed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if an obsession with clay, if you guys are any indication of an obsession with clay, I think it's a good obsession to have.
We just look normal.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we try to look normal here at Miami's Community News, but well, that's our time for today. Thank you guys for coming. I look forward to when you guys show up. I miss James this session, but I'm sure we'll get him sooner than later.
And you'll meet others as well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, and as always, we thank you for all the support that we get from,
Yes,
from the
definitely.
newspaper.
Absolutely. We look forward to you guys every time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you for watching, guys. Like I said, I'm Gerald Varela. This is Diana and Nan with the Ceramic League of Miami. Have a good one.
Okay.
Wasn't that fun?